please give a huge round of applause for Matt Price.
Hello. Hey, everybody. Okay. So after about 2 years of dating, my girlfriend and I decided to move in together. I was nervous about this, not because I didn't love my girlfriend, because I did very much, but I was nervous because now she would have like 24/7 access to all of my failings and my idiosyncratic behavior, such as like I talk to myself in the shower quite a bit. I'm always obsessed with if the chicken's done. I'm like, is the chicken done? Is it done? And things like that. We all have our failings, right? But we decided to move forward, and we set up an appointment with our prospective landlord to sign a lease. So I was trying to get like psyched up for it, as nervous as I was. But then I couldn't go to the signing because I booked what was the weirdest job I had ever had. And that was, I had booked a commercial to portray a dog in a Spanish dog food commercial. And they were flying me to Madrid to play a dog. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to Madrid. Madrid is 6,000 miles away from Los Angeles. And I had to imagine there was someone in Madrid who could play a dog. So I had a lot of questions about this job. I was anxious about this job because I couldn't speak. I knew no Spanish. I knew 5 words of Spanish. The words I learned when I was waiting tables at the Dancing Noodle, a make-your-own-pasta restaurant in Chicago. But I didn't think I need to use lechuga while I was there. So I didn't know how I would communicate with anybody. And I'd never been out of the continent at that point either. But anyway, I was moving in with somebody. I had to be an adult and go take this free trip to Spain, which, by the way, most people would be like, sweet, that's awesome. But I was like, I don't know Spanish. Anyway, so I go to Spain, which is, it's 9-hour time difference, and it's a 12-hour journey. So it was almost a full day the next day when I landed. I was only going to be there for 48 hours because that's how long it takes to do a Spanish dog food commercial. So I go, and I get there, and I'm like really jet-lagged and bleary-eyed, and I get picked up by a college kid who doesn't speak any English, and he's in a nondescript white van. Now that's usually a deal breaker right there. Just, could you get in a nondescript white van, anybody? But I do, because I'm on this adventure. And so I get in the van, and he's playing, we say no words to each other the whole time. But as he's driving me through the streets of Madrid, but he's playing on a loop, which he'll be playing on a loop for the next 48 hours. He's playing the Red Hot Chili Peppers' greatest hits. So I'm very comforted by Under the Bridge, because it reminds me of America, which I left behind 12 hours ago. And we're driving through the streets of Madrid, and I'm actually feeling pretty good. I'm like, you know what? You can do this. You can play a Spanish dog. And but he pulls up in front of this, in this industrial area of Madrid, and I'm like, uh-oh, this isn't great. And I get out, and it's my wardrobe fitting, apparently. He's driven me right to my wardrobe fitting, not to the hotel. And the wardrobe person also speaks very little English, but she tells me I'm going to be in a muy loco outfit, because that's what a Spanish dog wears, muy loco outfit. And so she proceeds to dress me in various parkas and sweatpants, and I end up with a blue sweatpants and a red parka and mismatched shoes and a hunter's cap. And I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm like, what's happened to you? And where are you? Like, what? I'm bleary-eyed. I'm like, what's going on? And the audition, the reason I got this part was because the audition was I barked at a cat. A human dog was barking at a human cat. That was all I did. That's why they flew me to Spain. But when I got there, she goes, no cat, now you chase car. And I was like, what? I chase car? And she's like, no cat, car. And I was like, wait. And she's gone, and I'm whisked away again. So because on the way there, I was like, oh, I'm going to hang out with someone who's, at least I'll hang out with the cat while I'm there. And now I'm just alone in Madrid. So again, I'm kind of like, I go back to the hotel, and it's like 5 Madrid time, and I haven't slept much, and I'm like, I do this thing, which I was told by a therapist is called catastrophizing. And I'm totally like, well, this isn't real. This is like the early 2000s. And so I don't know if you remember this period in television history, but there were a lot of reality shows happening at this time. And I was like, well, this is a reality show. This is like great prank show about fake commercials. And this is all a prank. And so I'm like, I'm being whatever. I'm being like, you got dog fooded. Like, I don't know. It's like a prank. And so I'm waiting for like someone to bust out, and I'm walking the streets of Madrid, and I decide to call my girlfriend, and so she'll soothe me. And she did, she was really great. But then there was a lull in the conversation, and I was like, oh, we can't move in together if there's a lull. Like, how are we gonna move in with a lull? Like, we're gonna have lulls all the time? And I'm a mess. I'm a mess, and I'm not prepared for my character of Spanish dog. So I go back to the hotel, and I now I can't sleep, and I'm like my mind is racing, and I'm on a reality show suddenly, and the next morning I wake up, and I barely got any sleep, and I go to the set, right? And the set, which is the guy drives me through, and it's like, Scottish, you had a wish you saw, and I'm just winding through Madrid. It's Madrid at dawn, and I'm like, Anthony Kiedis in my ear, and I get there, and I meet the director. Ostensibly I'd met him before in Los Angeles. I don't remember that, but he tells me the shot. He goes, okay, so you will run after car, and you will say, you will run after car and bark after car. And I was like, okay. And so before I know it, I'm in my parka, and I'm sprinting just after a car. And I'm going, like, ruh, ruh, ruh. And he cuts, and he goes, okay, great. But maybe you say, hey, like a Spanish dog would. No, like a dog would. And I was like, say hey like a dog would? And he's like, sí, hey like a dog. And I was like, okay. And again, I'm expecting this to be a reality show. I'm expecting him to go like, surprise! You're not even in Madrid. I don't know how that would even be possible. So I do it again, and I'm chasing this car like 10 times, like hey, like parka flapping in the breeze, Spaniard just looking at me like, what the hell? And I'm tired because I'm not in good shape, and I did not train for this role. I thought I was going to be in a lawn barking at a human cat, not running. So I'm exhausted, and we do it probably 15 more times. So Victor, yeah, thank you for the sympathy. And then around 4, he goes, thank you. And then he shakes my hand, and he gets in the car and goes. And we're done. And I was like, I'm standing there in this Madrid, like on the street, like sweaty parka, and I'm like, that's it? We're done? And this guy comes over to me, and he goes, and he was the only one who spoke like a decent English. He's like, so, yes, so Victor is, how you say, Jewish, and so it is Friday, and so it's early, so he has to go home for a holiday. And I was like, well, if I knew Victor was Jewish, I wouldn't have worried so much. He would have hooked me up as a Jew. And so I was like, I have to ask you something before I go, because he wants to get me in the Red Hot Chili Peppers van and go back. And I was like, I have to ask you something. Why am I here? What am I doing here? There was no one in Spain who could have barked like a dog? And he goes, well, we had the audition in Spain, in Madrid, and we had auditions in London and in Los Angeles, and you were the best dog impersonator in the world. And I was like, wow, oh my God, thank you so much. And he goes, because in Spain they have, how do you say, leading men, and that is not you. And I was like, you could have stopped earlier. But I was actually really, I was like, wow, that's thank you. That means a lot. And I really thought on the way home as we were going back and just like, give it away, give it away, give it away. And now as we were going back to the hotel, I was like, I really could have embraced this as an adventure, you know? I didn't have to catastrophize it. I really could have just said, wow, I'm in Spain for free. This is amazing. I'm just going to take whatever happens and not create this stupid scenario. And I made a vow that day to never do that again. I broke that vow almost immediately. On the flight home, I was like, that person looks sketchy. They're going to hijack the plane. But I do try and really honestly like think about that a lot and not catastrophize when possible. And in the airport, most importantly, I bought a cookbook on how to make tapas, and I put that cookbook in our breakfast nook in the duplex that my girlfriend and I moved into 2 weeks later. Thanks so much.